Well, I just want to say hello and good afternoon to Mitchell Tepper, who's visiting from Atlanta, right?
Yes, good afternoon.
And you're a founder of an incredible concept which has been going around the internet for, it's been over 13 years now.
Right.
It's called the Sexual Health Network, and the site is called sexualhealth.com. And so you obviously delve into a lot of important questions that people have about their relationships and about their ability to perform intimately. And some of it has to do with direct medical issues. Some of it is psychological, and some of it's a combination
Hmm.
of those things. So you're able to explore with them concerns that they have and provide answers not only from you, but from a host of experts that you have assembled over several years that you've been involved in this. And so, what's been the result of this, and how's it been beneficial to people?
Well, we've been serving people, as you said, at sexualhealth.com since 1996. And so we have hundreds of thousands of users who come through each month, really solution seekers. There are not many places where you could get accurate information around sexual health, especially as that intersects with disabilities or chronic conditions.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been, creating content in that area for many years, and it started with a focus on people with disabilities and chronic conditions. But there was such a void for information for everybody that now the majority of our users and questions come from people without disabilities who just want to know: Am I normal? Do I have a disease? Can I be pregnant? I have cancer. I was told this. What are my opportunities? I have spinal cord injury. So we're able to really give really targeted, tailored information to people around sexual health.
Okay. Well, we do want to let people know that you relate to disabled public because you yourself are what people would describe as being disabled, being that you are in a wheelchair and that you do have some challenges related to that, which obviously you've dealt with very well. So you can address this topic, especially if,
Yeah.
say, for instance, if someone is a veteran returning from the latest Gulf War or Afghanistan, and they may be having a difficult time adjusting.
Right. Specifically, I've been working over the last couple of years through my position at Morehouse School of Medicine. We have a Center of Excellence for Sexual Health. And I was, I think, in May of 2008, right here in Washington, D.C., where we held a conference called Wounded Troops and Partners Supporting Intimate Relationships. So we recognize the need to treat, we talk about the military family, but when someone's a veteran and they leave service with a disability, whether it be a psychological health issue, post-traumatic stress injury, or traumatic brain injury, there has not been any really organized support for that person and their partner and their intimate relationships.
Hmm.
So, it's a very important area in people's lives. And in fact, in the military, the number one root cause analysis when they do the studies of suicides are failed intimate relationships.
Hmm.
So what we're trying to do is bring attention to that and show the importance of helping people reconnect when they come home,
Hmm.
because the experience of being in war and in combat affects people deeply, and when they come home, it's very hard to emotionally connect and to physically connect, both with their intimate partners, whether it be their wife or someone they're living with, and also their children.
Hmm.
So we want to
Hmm.
bring the conversation around sexual health up and connect sexual health with mental health and physical health. So I try to bring the expertise and experience I have with disabilities and with chronic conditions right now on a timely basis to our veterans. And so with that, I also work at the Atlanta VA Medical Center,
Hmm.
and we are working on establishing some new programs to help people. And we're working in Augusta and doing retreats for right now for married couples who are having difficulties adjusting. So,
Hmm.
and today being Veterans Day, I think it's very important to kind of focus on this issue, and not, we want to support the military families, but we want to also support our veteran families too
Hmm.
when they come home, especially when they come home with a physical disability or a psychological or even a spiritual wound of war.
Hmm. Well, being that you've been around long enough to remember what happened after the Vietnam War, what do you think has changed besides the fact that we have the internet now to get the information out? What have we changed in terms of therapy?
Well, I think that we've recognized now, and much
Mm-hmm.
more readily, that combat has an effect on people.
Mm-hmm.
That we've done a lot around post-traumatic stress disorder,
Mm-hmm.
also recognizing there's just combat stress disorder, and recognizing mild traumatic brain injury and the effects that these quote-unquote mild things can have on people.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are making it much easier now for our returning veterans from Afghanistan and Iraq to access services in the area of mental health. And just recently, Senzeki issued, um, I don't know what you would call it, a declaration, or that to make it easier for the Vietnam veterans who are suffering from post-traumatic stress, but haven't been receiving services because up until this point they had to prove, the traumatic event. And so now I believe that they're changing or working to change the ability to access services. You just have to prove that you were in Vietnam. So what
Mm-hmm.
we've learned about stress and war and the effects of that now, um, we're beginning to hopefully make it easier for those men and some women who served in Vietnam to access services, because they too have been suffering for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that if there's any positive benefits that come out of war, or these wars, will be in our ability to help get a better understanding of mental health issues, psychological health
Mm-hmm.
issues, and ways of treating them, and to help people from other wars, but also to help a lot of other folks. We have a lot of homeless people in this country,
Mm-hmm.
and a serious overrepresentation of people who have served our country, who are out there. So we think through addressing what I'll say sexual health, but people usually understand sexual health in a very narrow way. They
Mm-hmm.
think of sexually transmitted diseases or infections or unwanted pregnancies. They don't think about intimate relationships, about love and connection, and about taking pleasure in your sexuality, feeling like a whole person. So when we talk about sexuality and sexual health, we're talking about intimate relationships too.
Mm-hmm.
People assume I'm not, and so we're trying to move the conversation up. So we're talking about emotional connections and
Mm-hmm.
bonding, and
Which begins with conversation, right?
begins with talking,
Mm-hmm.
begins with conversation, and that's very difficult for some people when they come back and they
Mm-hmm.
feel that they can't connect with their partner, they can't share some of the experiences that they've been exposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, there have been quite a few war documentaries, and people try to connect with the real world or the citizens of the U.S.
right,
through their experiences by putting together videos and films that kind of chronicle their experiences so that they can hopefully connect with people who are back here don't see these things every day.
right,
But at the same time, I think you are in a position to now help people by putting out information and videos and perhaps small mini documentaries. And you've had a lot of experience and you've seen
no,
and heard a lot of things.
yes.
So if you were to do that, then what form do you think it would take?
Oh, I'd love to do that, because if we could capture the experiences of the folks who are coming just to our retreats
Mm-hmm.
that we're doing, they're very powerful. There's never a dry eye in the room. Um, the experience of bringing people together, both the persons, so we have both men and women who have served, so we have husbands and wives and partners together in a room where they see that they're not alone, because people feel very isolated. And when they give their testimonial about their experience and the effects that both the war had and then getting help has had, it's very moving. So I think if we could begin to maybe capture some of these stories. Right now we haven't done that because we want to really protect people's privacy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but perhaps as they come along and are in a position where they can share their stories with others, I think that'll be very powerful. And I think we're going to start to do that soon. But we have some privacy issues.
Sure.
First and foremost, we want to protect people, so, privacy and their personal lives, and not have people, come out and share their stories until they're ready.
Yeah.
But we certainly would like to help get people along to that point. And the people who've coming through our retreats want to give back because they've gained so much from it. And what we'd like to do is institutionalize these throughout the VA, and then hopefully that will carry over into even the civilian population.